Gurubhyo Namaha. Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. This meditation, it goes its own way. So today it went in a different way. I thought it will be shamatha, but it was something else, I suppose. Tomorrow we will do shamatha. Hopefully. Now a few questions. Is there a qualitative difference between Gunatita state and Jnana Mukta, Jivan Mukta? No, one and the same. Gunatita is Jivan Mukta. All this is very simple. The human mind makes it complex. You are caught in the gunas. Tamo guna is the body. So you are caught in the body, you are trapped in the body. Rajoguna is the prana, the doership, enjoyership. Doership, you take it as doership. That is the Rajoguna. And so we are caught in it. Therefore, I am the doer, I perform actions and then reap the benefits of actions, good actions, and pay for the bad actions. The whole rigmarole continues. Just because I am caught in this activity, self-centered activity, that is called doership. Doership means self-centered activity. That is the meaning of doership. So it binds. Then we are caught in the sattva guna, bhoga. Sattva guna is sukha. Sattvam sukhe sanjayati. 14th chapter of Gita. So sanjayati means sanga karata hai. It makes you attached. Sanjay and sanga, between ga and ja, chavarga and kavarga, they get interchanged, you know. So therefore the sattva guna manifests in the form of joy, pleasure, and you get attached to that pleasure. And so you want the repetition of that pleasant experience. This is how we get bound to sukha, which is the manifest sattva. So you go beyond these three gunas, you are liberated now and here. It is all very simple. How many types of sannyasa are there? You see, sannyasa in principle it is one. It is a sankalpa sannyasa. The giving up of the thought. You examine the thought. Thought has the elements of seeking in it, the desiring and fearing. And so you address the thought. And the thought gets purified. And therefore thought stops projecting desires and fears. That is the essence of it. And so a person who is not desiring anything and he is not afraid of anything, that is the sannyasi. That is the samsara he gave up. That is the spirit of sannyasa. Now once the spirit of sannyasa is understood, then the smritis are there. Smritis, everybody writes his own smriti. And then there is one smriti and they add verses to that smriti. It is like a kind of ancient Wikipedia. All these Puranas, smritis are like ancient Wikipedia, where you can introduce your version of whatever you like anonymously. You need not even put your name. Anonymously you can put verses into it. You don't like somebody, you can put a verse. Once Gayatri Swamiji from Machilipatnam, he was a great Mahatma. He was given sannyasa by Kamakoti Big Swami, Chandrasekhara, Saraswati. He was invited to a place in Hyderabad. He came to give a lecture. They called him, he is a great scholar. They called him and So he came. Somebody brought him in a car, He cannot come running, He has to. And this is Dandi Swami, he cannot come by city bus and all that. Also, somebody has offered the lift, so he brought him. And he got down from the car. Somebody opened the door, he got down. Then somebody proclaimed, Yana Rudham Yatin Drishtva Sachela Snanam Acharet. One understood. If you look at a Swami who enters into a vehicle, you have to go and jump in Ganga and purify yourself. Purify, you have to take a purificatory bath. Sachela Snanam. That is what he said. Then the Swami was a bit stunned. That is not the way to receive a Swami. But he kept quiet, he smiled. And then somebody said one more sentence. Yatinindakam grahasthan drushtva sachela snanamacharet. Something to that effect. So like this, these verses are spoken. Like just now, I made a verse. First line I remembered, second line I made myself. And you put them into the Wikipedia, put it into Skanda Purana, or put it into Parashara Samhita. Somewhere you put them. This is how it is a very messy situation. You can't really tell which is authentic, which is fake, etc. You have to use your power of thinking. That's why Taittiriya says, Taittiriya has recognized these issues and said, Atha yadite karma vichikitsa va vrutta vichikitsa va syat. Like that it gave. When such doubts arise, you rely upon a scholarly person's judgment, a nice, loving, scholarly person. Therefore, these smrtis, they mess up the whole situation, too many of them. And so there are a variety of sannyasas. In one book, I collected some of this data from somewhere and put it in one place. At that time, I have come across 4 kinds of authentic sannyasas. That is, one is Hamsaha, the other is Kutichakaha, Bahudakaha, etc. There is a verse. It came from Mahabharata. Therefore, it could be very authentic. So like that, there are a few varieties. The technical details are not important, and I don't remember. They are not important. The spirit of sannyasa, I have told, that one has to understand. Is anyone superior among them? Naturally, there are sannyasis who are upasakas. The upasaka sannyasis are there. They do only upasana. Like all these Dvaita sannyasis, they don't recognize jnanam. What they call jnanam means upasana. So jnana bhi karna padta hai. If you do jnanam, that is upasana. If jnanam happens, that is jnanam. And if you do jnanam, that is upasana. Therefore, they recognize jnanam that we do. Means shastriya adhyasa. The superimposition which you deliberately do. That kind of upasana which is called jnanam, that alone they recognize. They don't recognize any independent jnanam. And they also recognize the combination of karma and jnanam. Jnana karma samuchaya they recognize. All these dualist swamis are like that. They are all upasaka swamis. All of them. And unfortunately, I am obliged to say, some of the Advaita Swamis are also Upasaka Swamis. They don't understand what is Atmanishtha, or they understand but they don't have a value for it. They are busy with rituals and upasanas, a combination of the two. Some of them are also Tantrikas. So Indian landscape of spirituality is very complex. And so you don't want to get into all of that. You just focus on the truth. The sannyasa in which the knowledge of the self is the goal, that is the supreme sannyasa. Whether all types of sannyasis will get moksha? No. Jnanan moksha, sannyasat moksha na. Jnanan moksha. Therefore, whatever be the sannyasa, that is not moksha. Jnana alone is moksha. Atmajnana, sarvakarma sannyasa purvaka atmajnana nishtha. That is the moksha. And taking to a life of sannyasa could be conducive to that. In a given situation, in a very specific situation, taking to a life of sannyasa could be conducive. Generally, when sannyasa has to be given to a person, a lot of thinking will go into it. It's not like you go to the marketplace and give money and take a piece of thing. It's not like that. A lot of thinking will go into it. And generally, the yes answer won't come immediately. So it will be kept pending and pending and pending. Because the sannyasa should be suitable for the other person. That is the idea. Some people, they give sannyasa because they want volunteers. And therefore there is a lot of shobhanadhyasa, what is called fanciful thinking. And the young people are given to fanciful thinking. And so when he is under the spell of fanciful thinking, make him a sannyasi and put him in the seat. And then for the rest of the life he will be put to some agenda. Now he cannot escape. He is trapped. Some of them escape also. So it's a very murky situation at times, not always. Therefore, the sannyasa is given after a lot of thinking, and it must be beneficial to the person's goal of self-knowledge. And also it must fit into the person's context and his benefit. It must be beneficial to the person. It should not be a punishment to the person. A lot more questions, I'll keep them pending.
Swami, if Guru gives the sannyasa to this person, is he committed to stay, to advance his mission, or is he committed to stay with that Guru only, or he can be...
It depends upon the Guru. More often than not, Gurus hold on to their flock. They don't want to lose the flock. But there are some Gurus, very rarely you come across them, they give freedom. They don't hold on to anybody. They give freedom. Even when they give sannyasa, the sannyasa is not meant to catch hold of the person and keep him obliged under the Guru's command. No. That is cruelty. That is a kind of very subtle himsa. It is not done like that. The Guru gives a sannyasa because he is convinced that the sannyasa will be useful for the person. And he can live as a sannyasi. That much the Guru is impressed. So he gives a sannyasa and gives a total freedom to the person. And the person is free to pursue his life of a sannyasa, life of the sannyasi, and also pursue his knowledge and all that in his own way. The Guru is always there to support and help, but the person is free. That kind of Gurus are there. They are rare, but they are there. But no. Very rare. Naturally, most of the Gurus, they have an agenda for the Sishyas. That is how the Gurudom works. When people have agenda for the Guru, my brother-in-law is failing the exam, Guru has to do something about it. Now, when the worldly people have agenda for the Guru, it comes like that. It is a mutual exploitation. It comes like that. You have it both ways, you know. What is the position called Chaitanya? I did not get the question. Position called Chaitanya. Chaitanya is a position. Chaitanya is the awareness, the stuff of knowing, the stuff of cognition. What is the stuff of which the cognition is made? Because cognition has two elements, the Namarupa element and the knowingness element. It is like Ghata Jnanam. In the Ghata Jnana, Ghata is the Namarupa the jnaptihi, the awareness of part, the knowledge of the part. The part, if you remove, it becomes the knowingness without being a particular knowledge. So if you take out the particular part of the knowledge, it becomes the pure knowingness. That is called Chaitanya. That is Atma. That is Brahma. Prajnanam Brahma. The other day in Bhandara, one Swami was reciting a verse, Prajnanam Shupratanaihi Sthira Chara Nikaram Vyapibhir Vyapya Vishwam, etc. A very beautiful verse by Shankara from Mandukya. So that is Prajnanam is the Brahma. Brahma yattan natosmi. That is the last part. Therefore, the Chaitanya is the Brahma. I did not get the question, but I have answered something.
Swamiji, I'm guessing, but I think person means brahmachari is here, the Chaitanya at the end.
Oh, this Brahmachari Chaitanya. This is a convention. Swamis are called Ananda. If you call brahmacharis also Ananda, then it becomes difficult to distinguish. Therefore, call them Chaitanya. Some distinction, And then Swamis wear ochre robes, give yellow robes to brahmacharis, or white. That is a convention. Okay? But that is the meaning of the Chaitanya. Should he do Nitya Karma like Sandhya Vandanam? Who? Chaitanya, that means brahmachari? Yeah. You should be more clear about the question. I assume that you are asking about a brahmachari.
It is my question. I mean only before sannyasa, I heard that one person is called Chaitanya. Just I want a clarification.
So is he a brahmachari? Then, yeah, if he is a brahmachari, he should do Sandhya Vandanam. Up to taking sannyasa, Nitya Karma is a must. Generally it is brahmachari, but there is no rule that he must be a brahmachari. There are some Chaitanyas who are grahasthas. There is no hard and fast rule that just by having a name Chaitanya he is a brahmachari. There is no such rule. Where it is like that, then he is a brahmachari, then he should do Sandhya Vandan. Who? Brahmachari can live in the house. Even everybody lives in a house only. Sannyasis, I mean, you don't call a particular family my family. That is sannyasi. That doesn't apply to brahmachari. I will answer some more questions later. A brahmachari can call a particular family as his family. He is the son of parents and all that. All that is fine. He is very much part and parcel of the household, the brahmachari. He need not run away here and there. That is for sannyasis. This we finished. This will come. Pure ego and inner ego. I did not say ego, I said aham. Because ego could be a bit misleading. Ego is generally not considered clean. Ego is ahankara. Ahankara is ego. Ego is ahankara. It is not considered good. It is a bad thing. Therefore, you cannot say pure ego and inner ego. Ego is ego. It is inner only. There is one way. But interestingly, Sri Ramakrishna has used a certain language. Language is only different. He is speaking the same truth. He said there is a distinction between I am this or I am that, I am the doer, I am this, I am that. That is the ego. And then pure I am, which is not ego. It is pure I am is Satchit, the being shining as the knowing, in which there is no doing. That is the pure I am. These two. He said the impure ego, I am this, I am that, I am the doer, I am the enjoyer. That is the impure ego. Unripe ego. When that ego becomes ripe, it becomes pure I am. Therefore he called pure I am as ripe ego. So that distinction you find only in the literature of Sri Ramakrishna. Otherwise, Nowhere ego is considered pure or any such thing. Ego is undesirable thing only. What exactly is surrendering? How is it done? You see, it's an interesting question, a very valid question also. You see, surrendering is called namama. Mama is holding. The opposite of mama is namama, that is surrender. Therefore, you come to surrender by negative way. Like you come to love negatively, you come to surrender negatively. You stop saying mama. And then you can add a thought of love. It is not mine anymore. And now you can add something to that. It is yours. It is you and it is yours. Tu aur tera. That is how they say to God. Oh God, tu hi tu. That is Sri Ramakrishna. You are all. You are everything. Sab kuch tera hai. Everything is yours. So this way you neutralize the me and mine. That is considered surrender. Surrender has got a lot more depth in it. I will come to it. In one of these classes I will discuss it further. Talked about sankalpa being for desires. In that particular expression, sarva sankalpa sannyasi. In that expression, Shankara, you go to the 6th chapter where this expression comes in the first, 4th or 5th verse, and there you have somewhat lengthy bhashyam. Lengthy means not very long, just 2, 3 sentences are there. There he says sankalpa cannot be thought, because if you give up thought, then you cannot walk from your place of sitting to your room. Because you need thought to walk, to eat food, to talk, to do some daily chores. You need thought. Therefore, sannyasa is not just giving up thought and become like a statue. He says that, says something akin to that. And therefore, sannyasa is not giving up the very faculty of thinking. No. Then there will be no life left. He has to take bhiksha and all that. Sankalpa here is kama sankalpa. And then he substantiates his explanation by quoting kamaha sankalpa jayate. The desire originates from thought. So like that, the word sankalpa in that limited context means desiring thought. You have to give up thoughts, means you give up desiring thoughts. That is the idea. That is the meaning there. Can sankalpa be used for non-binding desires for understanding self? What do you mean by non-binding desires? You have to explain it a little more. Desire is what I am is not good, not satisfactory, and I think of something which I should be. Therefore, there is a gulf between what I am and what I should be. So, I am what I am, but I want to be that. So, there are 2 levels now within the mind. I am is one level, I should be is another level. And the gap is made up of time. There is time in the gap. And therefore now you are caught in the net of time. Therefore, if that is how you look at a desire, whatever be the desire, you are caught in the net of time. Therefore it binds you. Now what is the desire that doesn't bind you? Like jijñāsa, the desire to know. It doesn't bind you. Because knowing is not time. And then the desire to give up desires, that doesn't bind you. Because the desire to give up desires is not even a desire. It is not a desire. Though you call it desire, it is not a desire. It is the ending of all desires. When you have a desire to give up all desires, That is not a desire, it is the ending of all desires, and therefore it doesn't create time. Therefore you have to be more specific about it. Or for desires for another person's health. What do you mean by that? Why should you desire only one particular person's health? Some matlab ka baat hai. Sarve jana sukhino bhavantu. It should be like that. No, my brother-in-law's health should be good. That is a desire only. Because you want your brother-in-law to be good so that you can feel good. When brother-in-law feels good, I feel good. So, therefore, it may sound a bit harsh, especially for family people who are caught in me and my family syndrome. And therefore they go on making prayers for their kith and kin. And they want to hear good things about their prayers. But unfortunately, I would love to say good things, but I have already said harsh things. So now I have to say good things about it. You see, events happen. Events happen. And every person comes with a reservoir of karma. It is called karma shaya. Every jiva comes into this world with a bundle of karmas. And he goes through those karma phala. Karma means karma phala. That is how it is called. And he goes through those karmas, exhausts those karmas and leaves the world. That is how jivas are. In between you enter and say, he is my brother-in-law. He is not a jiva. You are a jiva, he is a jiva. And jivas are not interconnected. There is no relation, etc. We come alone and naked into this world. Means you are not connected to any possessions. That is naked. And you are alone. Means you are not connected to any people. That is how you come. You don't bring your brother-in-law into this world. After coming into this world, you pick up somebody and call him brother-in-law. So you are imagining things. And now you want Shastra to validate your imagination and your sentimentality. And there is always some Shastra to validate it also. Some Shastra is always there to validate it, and some Guru is always there to validate it. You see, if you do karma, somebody else will get phalam. Is that what you understood about karma? Therefore, let us not go into the details. You just try to pray for the benefit of all, and see whether it is your attachment that makes you think on these lines. You want to pray for the welfare of your brother-in-law. I say brother-in-law, please don't mind it, okay? So you want to pray for the welfare of your brother-in-law because you somehow, unbeknownst even to you, in the welfare of the brother-in-law, your own happiness is included. Therefore, that is a vasana which makes you speak such language. But because it is about prayer, it is difficult to say anything negative about it, because it is about prayer. So it is ubhayato pasha rajjuhu. So there is a thread, you tie it around the neck. If you pull the neck this side, the thread becomes tight. So you suffer. And you pull it that side also, it becomes tight. Aisa karte hai log. But still I am steering clear of these sentiments and trying to speak truthfully. So another person's health and well-being without leading to dukkha. What about you? What about you? You need to be healthy and you need to be free from dukkha. First do something about it, and then you can help others. When I travel by the flight, I see one announcement all the time which I liked. In the event of decompression, the oxygen lines drop out, and this is how you have to tie the oxygen line to your face or your nose. And then it says, if there is a child by your side, first you put it for yourself and then help the child. That is the advice. Very specifically they give it. Because if you first don't put it and you try to help the child, you become unconscious. You will not be able to help the child. Then you will fall unconscious also. You will not be able to help yourself. So first help yourself so that you remain healthy and strong. Then you can help the child. So you want your brother-in-law to be healthy, but first you be healthy. You want your brother-in-law to be free from dukkha. What about you? Unless you are free from dukkha, how can you help your brother-in-law to become free from dukkha? So stop imaginations. Be asanga, asango yayam purushaha. Whether you love your brother-in-law or not, whether you pray for him or not, he is not a brother-in-law, he is a jiva, and he will go through his prarabdha, and you have nothing to do with it. So God bless you. If we all are part of some same higher power, why were we created in the first place? There is no first place. Just to go through these ups and downs, you have created, today morning in meditation I have said, you have created the world in which you live. You cannot even have a chance to complain. You make yourself, you create your own sorrow. Nobody makes you sorrowful. Bhagavan did not create you to go through ups and downs. He created you to be blissful. And He gave you all the wherewithal to be blissful. And be blissful. Who stopped you? So you are confused and create ups and downs in life out of that confusion, and then try to find a scapegoat in God. Therefore stop all that, own up your mistake and your confusion. You mold your destiny. You create your sorrow. You create your happiness. Nobody else will create. It is like the infrastructure. Shri Narendra Modi ji created an infrastructure, a 4-lane highway from here to Delhi. You are driving the car and you make an accident. The infrastructure is not responsible for that. Your wrong driving is responsible for that. You drive properly. Therefore, don't find scapegoats. Don't try to find scapegoat for your unhappiness. Please don't mind. That is how it is answered, okay? I don't mean you. In general, it is said like that. Discover Ishvara and merge with Him finally. Do it. Ishvara doesn't stop you. If sun is shining here, you run behind the shadow and blame the sun. You stop running behind the shadow, turn your back to the shadow. You are looking at the sun, and then there is no shadow. Like that. You see, people are so confused. If you see what happened, somebody saw the shadow, his own shadow. And then he was told the shadow is some defiling thing, or it is some bad omen. Like that he was told. The shadow is bad omen, something he was told. And he believed it. And he called half a dozen workers and asked him to dig a pit and bury the shadow. And so, but then he cannot move from there. He has to stand there. Because they have to bury the shadow, so he has to stand there. And so they dug a trench and they buried the shadow with all this soil and made it as flat as possible. But then the shadow appears there. People are like that. People are just no more than that. Samsaris are like that. They jump from one calamity into another calamity into another calamity, all created by their own imagination. The nature has no role to play in it. The planets and stars have nothing to do with it. The Ishvara or the higher power has nothing to do with it. It is your ajnana and you create the samsara and you are welcome to stop creating it. God has made you blissful. You can discover it and be free. Explain the meaning of the song Nirvana Shatkam. It takes a camp for it. Nirvana Shatkam, it takes a camp for it. In brief, it only means you are neither this nor that. In brief, that is what it means. You are not any one particular, and also you are not the collective of particulars. You are neither one particular nor a collection of particulars. You are, as I already told, you are nothing that can be perceived nor conceived. You are what you are. That is the meaning of that song. You pay attention to it today. If you have doubt of any particular expression in that song, put it here, tomorrow I will explain. Not the entire song. Okay? God created man in his image. Man created God in his image. You see, first man creates God in his image and then says God created man in his image. That is how it is said. You see, this is said by Swami Vivekananda and also by Swami Ramatirtha. But people don't pay attention to Mahatmas. This is the bane or the curse of Hindu society. They are caught in a plethora of rituals and forms, shapes and names and forms. All of them designed by their own desires and fears. All these forms and names and forms are created by their own desires and fears. You have a fear, and so out of that fear a devata is created, and you worship that devata to get rid of this fear. This is how it works. And therefore people are caught in all this, and the wrong message has gone very deep into the society. A wrong message, very wrong message, totally isolated from truth. And Shastras do not support it. A wrong message has gone into the society. That's why the society, when it is burdened with all these superstitions and beliefs and rituals and other things, the society loses the power to know. And therefore, when a wise voice comes, they fail to understand it. For example, Gita is studied more outside India than in India. In India, nobody studies Gita. And you select one important big Swami. Maybe he is in 60s or his 70s, a big Swami. He has thousands, hundreds of, tens of thousands of devotees, millions of devotees. And he has properties which no big conglomerate can boast of. That kind of properties. Like some of the Swamis have big ashrams in every conceivable town. They have an ashram in Hrishikesh. Hrishikesh real estate cost is very, very, very high. But they have ashram in Hrishikesh. They have ashram in Varanasi, ashram in Rameshwaram, ashram in Kanyakumari, ashram in Bombay, ashram in Delhi. Like that they have ashrams, 50 ashrams, 60 ashrams, all real estate. In Tirupati, high on the mountain peak, on the banks of Godavari, on the banks of everywhere they have ashrams. And nowhere you see Gita. That is what I am trying to say. Gita is not to be found anywhere. Everywhere some kind of a Puranic ritual going on. And they promote some belief system. Quite often a superstitious belief system they promote. Therefore a wrong message has gone very deep into the society. Therefore they miss the points made by great Mahatmas. Vivekananda said, if all the fish come together and want to make a temple of God, the God in that temple will be a big fish. Then Swami Ramatirtha said, Ramatirtha is contemporary of Vivekananda and he was inspired by Vivekananda. He said, very interestingly he said, if all buffaloes come together and build a temple for God, the shrine inside the temple will be a huge buffalo. What does it mean? What is the meaning of these statements coming from such great luminaries of Hindu wisdom? Coming from them, what does it mean? We should pay attention to that. So, the wrong message has gone so deep. Now, the situation is, if a person speak wisely, pull him down, hoot him down, down, karo isko. Or make arrangements to throw him out. That is the atmosphere you find in the spiritual circles of India. Therefore, so it is very tough to speak truth. Yet, those who speak truth, they speak truth. Because they cannot do otherwise. They cannot do anything other than that. Whatever is natural happens. And there is no need to fear anything. Therefore, I don't know why I went into this. So, the gods and goddesses that we worship are shaped by our desires and fears. You have to worship the true God. So you have to come to that. Yeah. There is a thing called true religion. That is the name given by Swami Ramatirtha, the kingpin of Vedantins. And Swami Vivekananda gave the name Vedantic religion. That is what he said. So we are all students of Vedanta. We have to follow Vedantic religion in our wisdom. Mahatmas were born centuries ago. They are born all times. And their birth has nothing to do with the population. When the population was less, and life and world perhaps better place, not necessarily. You see, in our childhood, the population was 33 crores, or maybe 40 crores. Today it is 130 crores. The ease of living is better today than when the population was 40 crores. The ease of living is certainly better today. Therefore, all things don't go by population. Considering the way the world is today, you see, it is said the population is not the burden for the earth. They talk of what is called bhubhara. That is a Puranic expression. It is not a Vedantic expression. In Puranas, they talk of the earth being burdened. Bhubhara. Some story started in Purana and it caught up like wildfire. Everywhere, in every Purana, you come across this expression. The earth being burdened. Even in that context, the burden is not that of numbers. Numbers is not the burden to the earth. Adharma is the burden to the earth. Therefore, even in India could feed 130 or 1.3 billion people. India could feed 1300 crore people. Is it so? 130 crore people. Sorry, my numbers are wrong. So India is feeding so many people and providing better amenities to all these people when compared with a few decades earlier. Therefore, it is not the number which is important. Number is also in a way important, but more than number, the adharma that people do, that is more painful. Considering the way the world is today, why no avatar or Mahatma today to guide the world to be a better place? Why do you say there is no avatar? You are the avatar if you know. This is Tattvamasi. This is a Vedanta class, In the Vedanta, the human being is the manifest form of God. And in every heart there is God. It is not that only in Rama's heart there is God, in Krishna's heart there is God, that is Purana, not Upanishad. In Upanishad, in every heart there is God. In Gita, Shri Krishna says, I am the God, you are also the God. Ishvara sarva bhutanam hriddeshe arjuna tishtati. Therefore, there are Mahatmas, there is Dharma, that's why there are good rains, that's why we have a good Prime Minister. For the first time, a Prime Minister who is a Karma Yogi. Therefore, don't say all is bleak, which it is not so. There is a ray of light at the end of the tunnel, and there is a silver lining in the clouds. Okay? Many questions are there, we will address all of them. Explain how karma stops being a I could not make it. Is the practice of silence important? It is extremely important. In fact, you should grow in silence and peace only. People grow in peace and silence. They don't grow in a noisy situation, outward as well as inner. Mahatmas are seldom noisy. Mahatmas are always silent and peaceful. And the spiritual seekers grow into the truth by practicing silence and by abiding in that inner peace and silence. Silence is very important. Maunam Atma Vinigraha, Gita, 17th chapter. Is fasting important? Yes. Fasting is very important. But you have to do it in a scientific way. It is proved scientifically by conducting elaborate experiments on a big sample size that fasting is extremely beneficial to human beings. And then animal models are also studied. When the animals fast, they are made to fast. They are denied food for a few hours continuously, and so they remain in fasting. And then their physiology improves remarkably after the fasting episode.